Recording in progress.
Swiftly attain the state of Vajradhara. Okay, let's do the 4 limitless contemplations. May all beings have happiness and create the causes of happiness. May they all be free from suffering and creating the causes of suffering. May they find that noble happiness which can never be tainted by suffering. May they attain universal impartial compassion, free of worldly bias towards friends and enemies. Semchen tamche dewatang dewe jutang den pa juchik dungal tang dungal chichu tang trawa juchik dungal mepe dewa tampatang mindrawa juchik nearing chaktang ni tang trawe tang nom chempo la ne pa juchik. So good morning, everybody. It's really nice. We're going to start a new subject today, which is lovely. And if you can, cameras, it will be great. I'd love that. We're going to, this new series is going to be called A to Z in the Dharma, Yeshe Tsogyal's Treasure Maha Guru Prayer. So this is the first part of it, and really, really important. This prayer is such an important prayer, and I really want you all to get it off when Bern puts it up and use it. And as I explain everything to you, you'll understand why it's so important to use this prayer. It's really an amazing prayer. So what I want to tell you is right at the beginning how I came to this prayer, which is such a beautiful thing. And I'll tell you why it's a beautiful thing, because, you know, when I look at Guru Rinpoche's mandala, everything in my life comes out of that mandala. Just at the right time, providing you have got that dedication and that practice and that hook. It's really, really important to understand that mandala is so important, because everything in your spiritual life, even in your physical life, will eventually come about once you have that amazing mandala and that connection. And so when I was on retreat in India one morning, I think I've told you the story, but it's very appropriate for today. One morning there was a knock on my door and I went to see it, and there was this lovely little girl from America whose name is Yeshe, was also Yeshe, that was her spiritual name, and she stayed in the retreat room behind me. So she came, and she came with this offering, these papers, and she said, Melanie, I've come to give you this prayer. Something in my life says you really need this prayer. And I said, oh, that looks lovely. It was a Yeshe, so it was this prayer. And I said, I'll go and photocopy it when I get time and then give it back. She said, no, it's for you. Now, she was busy in her retreat just doing Chenrezi. That's all she did. She was American, Jewish, interesting. So we really got on with each other, but she was doing Chenrezi from the early morning till the late night, every day, with total devotion. She made her food, she did everything. She wasn't in the retreat with the rest of people. And something in me, funnily enough, thought, you know what, she's too isolated. She's a young girl. She's just sitting in this room doing Chenrezi, and now she's got such compassion. And you know, it's interesting because she actually eventually lost her permit for India and had to go home, and I never saw her again. But the thing is that it's interesting because I think she had to give her beauty to lots of people. But this is what she wrote on top of the prayer. It's very interesting because it goes with the prayer. Dear Melanie, I'm inspired to offer this to you today. I think it, and her writing is exquisite, was exquisite. I think it is so beautiful what is happening here in your life and your practice, and especially in your connection to our glorious Guru Vajradhara, Chamgon Kenting Tai Situ Rinpoche, the Maha Guru Rinpoche, with love, respect, and joy, Yeshe. And it was signed October the 27th, 213. So that's when I got this. That's when I got this prayer. So I was very, very touched by it. And I started to do it immediately, because when something lands up like there very auspiciously, I started to do it. I never thought of teaching this prayer until I happened to stumble on Dzongsar Khyentse teaching this prayer. He had 3 YouTubes on teaching this prayer. And so it was very, very lovely that I stumbled on it. And then I thought, no, I've got to teach it now. I think he didn't give enough teaching on it. In the end, the last one was questions, and they were not questions relevant to the prayer. But it really excited me, you know, that he gave some of the depth of this prayer, and it's a huge, huge, huge prayer. So in the beginning, I want to really get the atmosphere of Yeshe Tsogyal. I've given you her before, but especially it's so important for you all to relate to both Yeshe Tsogyal and Mandarava. If you look at my thing above my head at the picture of Guru Rinpoche, that was given to me by Akon Rinpoche a long time ago into my hands with a signature at the back of that picture. And if you can look, I think it's quite hard in the picture. Maybe I'll just lift this up for you to see. You'll see, can you see? Yeshe Tsogyal and Mandarava on either side of Guru Rinpoche. So that's right in the middle of my shrine, and I love it. I absolutely love that, because then I go for Yeshe Tsogyal and Mandarava, and for me, they're interchangeable. And I know you, Ron and Sharon, have done a lot of work with Mandarava. Maybe my thing was more with Yeshe Tsogyal. But there are a lot of books about Yeshe Tsogyal, of course, a lot about Guru Rinpoche, which I don't even have in this house, but anyway, there are a lot. There's Guru Rinpoche. Yeah, they are the two Dakinis, Mandarava and Yeshe Tsogyal at the bottom. They really are almost interchangeable. And the books, thank you, Bern, the books that have been written about her, I'll give you all their names, but the one is The Life and Visions of Yeshe Tsogyal, okay? And in that book, Dzongsar Jamkon Khyentse writes the foreword, and he goes like this: to think of Yeshe Tsogyal only as the consort of Guru Rinpoche is very limited. Yeshe Tsogyal is actually the voice of Guru Rinpoche. In fact, she is Guru Rinpoche in feminine form. Countless times, Yeshe Tsogyal also leads us to a deeper understanding of the Dharma by displaying curiosity. Now, what does that mean? It means she asked all the questions that were necessary, and she didn't need the answers, I promise you, but she asked them for us. So everything she does by displaying curiosity, and even manifesting as Guru Rinpoche's disciple. Now that's very important, because she wasn't really a disciple. She was equal to him, but she played the role of disciple so that we can get everything from her. It is no wonder that nearly all the treasured teachings in the Nyingma tradition are in one way or another connected to the lady Yeshe Tsogyal. If Guru Rinpoche is the sun, then without any doubt, Yeshe Tsogyal is the sun's rays. Oh, that's very beautiful. And for you, Iga, you know, all the feminine beings are the same. Mother Mary in the Catholic religion, and Tara, and all of them, they're all together with Yeshe Tsogyal without a doubt. Okay, so this very, very special prayer. Jess, are you all not turning your cameras on? Patricia, I loved it that you were there. Come on, guys, turn your cameras on so that I can see you, because it's nice for me when I'm teaching. So anyway, I'd like you to think of the setting in which this treasure prayer was said by Yeshe Tsogyal. The place was a place, Guntang Peak. And Dzongsar says that it's a very special, blessed place from where Guru Rinpoche will depart from Yeshe Tsogyal and all the disciples. He's going to tame the Rakshasas, but that's not all he's going to do. he's going back into his mind of the copper-colored mountain. He's really there. Nice to see you, Yvette. And so he's off into the sky, and he will travel. So all of these beings, Yeshe Tsogyal and all the beings, have come all the way with him to this Guntang peak. And now he's about to depart. And you've got to understand, you've really got to understand and feel their desperation at his departure. The king, in this instance, by the time they departed, and I haven't got my beautiful books, I couldn't look it up again, but the king was not Tristan Detsen, who was Manjushri in embodiment, who actually brought Guru Rinpoche to Tibet. The king was his son, and his son had grown up with Guru Rinpoche since he was a little baby. So he'd always had Guru Rinpoche around. And now Guru Rinpoche said, I must depart, at least in the physical body. And he was desperate. He was so upset that they were going, all of them were, and they live through Guru Rinpoche's breath, through his being, they can't bear the fact that he will no longer be there in physical form. And here is where she makes her Maha Guru prayer. Maha means great Guru prayer. And he answers her. Now, I've brought you the answer. I sent it to Bern so that you can actually see how he answers her from that prayer. And what this is really, here she makes her Maha Guru prayer, he answers her, and it is so much more than a prayer to an external great guru. It's actually the pledge to find the Maha Guru within. You know, when I taught you the copper-colored mountain, it starts off that you're getting to Guru Rinpoche externally in the copper-colored mountain externally. But in the end, as you go through the teaching, you're finding it in your own self. It's in your mind, not outside of you. So she is saying, yeah, it's the pledge to find the Maha Guru within, and to be able to do that by his blessings. His blessings are vital, because whatever you are doing, you need the blessings. And how do you get the blessings of your own Maha Guru? By actually asking, by dedicating. I'll talk about that in depth a bit later. But you get the blessings. You need the blessings, because that is the empowerment to wake up to who you really are. And you need those blessings. And those blessings are always there for those that use the hook of their practice to receive them. So whatever practice you do, even if it's walking meditation, I thought it was so cute. The guy who comes and looks after our dogs, always when we go away, send me a message, and he said, Melanie, you're going to be very proud. My wife and I have gone to a mindfulness course. You know, he said, and we're really learning to meditate. And I wrote back, that's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. You know, he's going on the journey, probably from being around all my things and everything. I know I used to go into my shrine room and everything. So starting off with mindfulness, very, very good. Okay. So the background for this prayer, you know, I always like to give you a beautiful background, because without the background, you can't appreciate the prayer. So maybe to put down on paper and teach who was Yeshe Tsogyal in that life, so as to understand the impact of this prayer and all the dharmas that she recalled from Guru Rinpoche with perfect recall. Now, what that means, it shows us she was not an ordinary human being. So whatever Guru Rinpoche taught her, and we get books and books and books and books with all his teachings in. And really, you should find them and look at them, because I've been finding them for a long time. And then I put them in my prayer book, and then I say them. But Guru Rinpoche gives these amazing instructions, okay, all in poetic form. And she had perfect recall. So she had a perfect memory. Now, I read a book, and I study it, and I'm very excited by it, and I write 1,000,000 pages of notes and everything. And 3 months later, I can't remember anything. Okay, I have to go and read up all the notes. I have to look at the book again. Oh my goodness, apart from old age making me forget names all the time. Okay, but you know, the thing is that she had perfect recall. So whatever Guru Rinpoche gave her, she put into beautiful form and buried it, sometimes in the disciples, sometimes in the oceans, in the rivers, in the mountains. And then what would happen with the Termas, as all of you know, is that one of the disciples, called the treasure finders, the tertons they're called, they would suddenly get a feeling that this is the time to find that prayer. And why would they get that feeling? Because that prayer, that terma, had to be discovered at that particular time. Why? Because it was relevant for that time. Now think about this, how unbelievable this is, that things are discovered. Like Tara was only found in a terma 100 years ago for the world to have Tara practice and everything. But if you look at it, it's so amazing because, you know, because Guru Rinpoche puts it there, because she had perfect recall, wrote it all down, and then buried it, and then you find it at the right time. So it's very, very, very important that we actually look at it and see what this is all about. Where is my stuff? Sorry, I've got to get it. And I think it's so important to look at all of this. So what happened was that Pema Lingpa is the treasure finder of this prayer. And Dzogyal says that he received teachings from him as a child in Bhutan. And this prayer is so prescribed by Yeshe Tsogyal and discovered by Pema Lingpa. And it's not an ordinary prayer. Consists of everything A to Z in the Dharma. It's a Mahayana and especially Vajrayana teaching, and it can't be limited and narrow with this prayer. If you are limited and narrow and you take the words for what they are, you won't get what you need to receive from it. It's vast. You have to be expansive beyond thinking. So when you take the prayer, which we'll say at the beginning, you really, really have to looking at it in a different way. And when you say it carefully and ponder the words. And I'm hoping the teaching will come from me, you know, through me for all these verses, okay? But a treasure teaching is not far-fetched. If you let your mind expand, it will give you great inspiration. And Buddhism is all about mind. If we pay attention to mind, we might relate to Pema Lingpa and Yeshe Tsogyal's prayer. Mind is so important that it's the quintessence of the aspiration of Yeshe Tsogyal's prayer. And Dzogyal, when he teaches it, says he's going all over the place. He's not going verse by verse. I'm sorry that he isn't going verse by verse, because it's really got a lot of amazing things in it that one can really enjoy. But as Anam Thupten Rinpoche writes about Yeshe Tsogyal in commentaries on her life story, there were lots of commentaries in this book. It's very, very lovely book. Both of these books are really lovely. I'll show you, there are actually 3 that are amazing. But this one, The Life and Visions of Yeshe Tsogyal, okay, that a lot of these lamas and teachers have written their commentaries about it. And it's really a very special book. So is Sky Dancers, okay? Sky Dancers by Keith Dowman is all about her life story, and it's also got beautiful pictures in it, okay, which are really lovely to see about Yeshe Tsogyal. And then there's a third one, and I've got that one too. It's called Lady of the Lotus Born, Jalwa Changchup and Namkha Nimpo. So those are the 3 books written about her life story. And then, of course, her life story comes into all Guru Rinpoche's books as well about him. So Anam Thupten says in that book, on the one hand, in the story, Yeshe Tsogyal is enlightened and exalted. But on the other hand, she is completely human and goes through the most terrible hardships. I actually cried when I read what she was prepared to endure for all of us. She's not spared a single hardship in her life. Why? So that we can identify with her and her courage and her never giving up. I mean, what she went through, remember in Tibet, that women were really second-class citizens. And in all of that time, so women were never allowed to actually do what they want. But she's born in exceptional circumstances, in regal circumstances, and her parents receive all these things. They do make love, and she's born in that way, but they really understand it's a completely spiritual birth. And she is called into being by Guru Rinpoche. Now, this is a very fascinating story, which I'm not going to go on because I want to teach more just of her life and more of the prayer. But in the Sky Dancer, in Keith Diamond's, he actually writes how when Guru Rinpoche came to Tibet, he needed a feminine being to actually bring the teachings down as she did. So what he did was he went into all the different realms and he was calling for the goddess Sarasvati, and he said what he needs. And Sarasvati eventually sent this emanation, but she did come through her mother, unlike Guru Rinpoche, but he sent this emanation, which is very interesting. And in the book, I mean, they show you when she's born. She's not born ordinary. I don't know if you can see this picture, but you can have a look anyway. Have a look at her. There's the baby. Can you see her? She's a newborn baby. She's sitting up, and all these royal beings are fabulous. She had this long hair. She was definitely not born like we born. And so when she was born, she was already sitting in meditation and reciting Guru Rinpoche mantras, okay? And her mother brought her beautiful offerings of food. Now, she did not need to eat, okay? She didn't need any food. But she says, for my mother's sake, I will eat, okay? Because her mother wanted her to eat, so as all mothers do, so she ate. But what is beautiful is that after her birth, after 1 month of her birth, she suddenly became 8 years old. So she went through the birth for our sakes to learn, but she suddenly was 8 years old. And what they had to do was they had to hide her away, because otherwise people would say, what's this specimen? You know, they would have done all things. But she was already 8, because what's the point of going through the years before 8? There's absolutely no point. And she is beautiful. Whoever writes about her says she was the most exquisite being. You can go into the other realms when you go into your sleep state or your meditation and go and see her yourself, okay? She's beautiful and totally attuned to her spiritual path. But her difficulties start because of women in that society. And one of the things that is interesting is she felt there was no escape from the bondage of her beautiful female form that everyone objectified. So because of her exquisite form, which all of us think we'd like to die for, okay, to look like her, she was absolutely exquisite, but it was her biggest bondage. Because what happened? As soon as she was exquisite, every man, every king, everybody wanted her, okay? So she said it was her bondage that she was beautiful. She hated it. She wished she was sort of quite ugly. She wasn't very happy about, you know, being in a beautiful world, body. Now she had hundreds of suitors coming for her hand in marriage. But she refused, and one of the kings bound her and took her. Her father said she's allowed to choose, but then her father realized if he let her go to this king, then this king would fight for her and all the rest of it, and he didn't know what to do because all the kings wanted to marry her. But eventually, and one took her, grabbed her, took her in, and she had to fight all these men off and then escape. And then they found her, and then they bound her in chains. I mean, she went through the most awful things in her life, okay? But eventually, Tristan Detsen, who was the king and the emperor in Tibet, stepped forward and asked her to be his wife. So she became the empress. There are beautiful pictures of her when she was brought in. Let me see if I can find one for you. She was brought in, to be his wife on this wonderful horse that she was riding. I don't know where it is. I didn't place it. But anyway, she was exquisite, and she came there. No, that's not her. Sorry, just 1 second. I'll try and find that lovely picture of her, because it's so beautiful when she arrives and then what actually happens to her, which is really interesting. Wait, let me see if that's it. I should have marked it. I didn't. Anyway, it doesn't matter if I can't find it, but I just would like you to see it. They give such lovely drawings in this book. They really, really do. Here she is coming to Tristan Detsen. I don't know if you can see. In all her glory, you can't see now, sorry. There she is on her horse, being delivered to him. She was absolutely exquisite. I should have taken photos and sent them. It doesn't matter. It's just to give you an idea. She was on the horse with her beautiful umbrella, and the horse was all decorated, and she was given to Tristan Detsen. And why was she? Because, first of all, he was so in love with the Dharma that he made all his economy around paying for the Dharma. I wish he could give some lessons to some other countries, okay? And he made her in charge of the Dharma because he knew she was very beautiful and very special. And then he invited Guru Rinpoche to come and be in Tibet. Now, when Guru Rinpoche eventually arrives in Tibet, here is this being, Tristan Detsen, who is Manjushri, an emanation of Manjushri, the being of wisdom, and he is overawed by Guru Rinpoche. And he goes down on his hands and knees, and he bangs his head as he's prostrating to Guru Rinpoche and everything. And then he offers Guru Rinpoche his whole kingdom and everything in it. And of course, he offers Guru Rinpoche his wife, Yeshe Tsogyal. And Guru Rinpoche says thank you and takes her as his consort. So there she was, coming to the Guru in a most beautiful way, and only because of the generosity of Tristan Detsen, who understood the whole story from another way. And then her real hardships to attain enlightenment start. But her dedication and devotion to the Guru never vaguely ceased. For me, it's really important that you know this story, because then you can appreciate how the prayer was actually given, okay? And then she spends 12 years in a cave in retreat. And how does she get to this cave? Guru Rinpoche magically transports her. It's in the Sami charnel grounds. That's where they threw all the dead bodies, in the charnel grounds. That was the most wonderful place to practice. And she spends 12 years with his instruction, meditating and practicing. And after the 12 years, he says to her, my dear Lady Karchin, you still only have a slight understanding of realization and omniscience after 12 years. She was told she had collected a wealth of experience without it amounting to realization. She was so crestfallen that she fainted at that point. And in the context of those dedicated to enlightenment, she's sadly lacking in the basics: genuine faith, diligence, courage, pure vision, and more. Now, what you've got to understand is this is a staging. It's like she's doing a play for us. That's why we've got to really appreciate it, because she was already an enlightened Buddha, but she came in this role, going through all her difficulties in the cave and her inability to get where she needed to go. Hardships and difficulties are the way, but whether they become obstacles or not is up to us. So when you're going through hardships and difficulties, know that that is your purification. That is your absolutely everything. And it's really important that you understand that and see it. Can you imagine she endures all of this for our sakes to demonstrate what is required for us to awaken and see the world with pure perception? We don't see with pure perception. We see with karmic perception. Then we might see a little bit when we do the second layer of perception, which is when we're doing our practice. Maybe, mostly we see with karmic vision. To see it as it is really, really difficult, because that's pure perception. Yeshe Tsogyal is a dakini. Nangwang Zangpo says the word kandro is defined as an individual who freely moves in the unlimited pure space of the panoramic wakefulness that arose of itself and is ours from the start. Okay? The whole purpose of the life story, and this is my point, of the life story of one such as Yeshe Tsogyal, and the same with Mandarava, is to lead us forward and spur us to unearth and awaken our inner Yeshe Tsogyal, our inner Guru Rinpoche and our inner Yeshe Tsogyal and our inner Mandarava. That's the purpose of our lives. So can I start calling you all Yeshe Tsogyal? Yeah. Our practice is like this, as written in the book, an ongoing journey to refine perception and see the subtle manifestations of experience as the conditioned and concretized phenomena that they are. Everything we accept as real can dissolve, change form, or be experienced in one moment as horrific and in the next joyful. We can't stay at our ordinary, everyday level of perceiving. We have to give up our fixated view. Now, it's so interesting because last week, I had a week with people where at least about 4 people said to me, Melanie, how can I change what's happening to me? From introversion, can you change it? To terrible things happening to people in their lives? To awful things, that are happening, physical things, sickness and everything. And they've actually asked me, how can I change? Now, it's really important to look at this because, how you change is Yeshe Tsogyal goes on a heavenly tour in one of her out-of-body experiences. And she sees terrible things. She goes into the hell realm. She sees all these terrible things. The Dakini who's taking her says, it's just your perception. If you clean up your channels, the Dakini tells her, you'll see in a different way. And after her tour, subtle doubts, expectations, and perceptions are purified, and so are all her horrible visions. Now, I want you to think about all of this, because if your visions are not clear, and not pure perception, it's really difficult to see the world. And I go back to the story of Saraputra, who was arguing with someone else that Buddha Shakyamuni's world is not beautiful, that it's got so many pains and all kinds of things, thorn bushes and rocks and stones. And Brahmajata says, no, that's not true. If you could see with pure perception. And then they go to Buddha Shakyamuni, they ask him, is it true that your realm here is not the same as other Buddhas in the past who seem to have beautiful, pure realms? So what the Buddha did was, he just transmuted the whole world into pure vision for a moment. So they were sitting there, they saw this absolute pure vision of everything divine. And there were no more arguments after that. That's what we have got to be able to see, the beautiful, pure perception, and then we can really change. Now, your beautiful Kandro, Chagdud Kandro, writes in the book, Tati, you'll be very happy to know. So I want to just read you what Kandro says in her book. She's the one that came and visited us, okay? She says, the writings of Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal shine almost unbearable brilliance into the dark and clouded recesses of my mind. Flaws, doubts, inadequacies, rationalizations, procrastinations, and hypocrisies find undeniable exposure. It's never comfortable. She said, yet her voice, sweet and melodious across the centuries, beckons and gives confidence. Her stories, confided with such intimacy, provide guidance as I wend my way through outer and inner spiritual obstacles. Her presence always accessible if I remember and request it. Very important point. If I remember and request it. Start requesting of Yeshe Tsogyal and see what happens to your life. It's amazing. Okay? She says, her presence, always, if I remember and request it, is ever luminous and softens the conflicted emotions and confusions that arise within me during these chaotic, degenerate times. Yeshe Tsogyal again and again asks spiritual questions of the lotus ball Guru Rinpoche on behalf of us all. These were amazing questions posed in an orderly sequence that evoke clear and full responses, which delineate the path to complete liberation and enlightenment. How can we not be grateful, not only for the teachings, but for the example of a consummate union of the guru-disciple relationship? And she says, here in my center in southern Brazil, we have 2 statues and several paintings of Yeshe Tsogyal. Have you seen them, Tati? Good. She says these have power because they've been created by skilled artists and consecrated by realized Rinpoches. But Yeshe Tsogyal eludes captivity in art. It is only through our prayers and meditation that her resplendent beauty reveals itself, and she embodies radiant bliss and wisdom beyond ordinary perception. And she tells the story of her husband's mother. I don't know if you all remember, Karen knows that book very well, De Log Dawa Droma. In her journey in the realms beyond death, she goes to Yeshe Tsogyal on the copper-colored mountain. And then at the end of her visit, De Log Dawa Droma, Yeshe Tsogyal accompanied Dawa Droma's departure for 100 paces, saying, other than the small distance that I've come today, I actually never go anywhere. And so Kandro says, how wonderful to stay in one place, yet to be everywhere. Just think about that, to stay in one place, never moving, but to be everywhere. That's what I think I'm going to do in my new house. Okay. Go there and just stay there, and whoever wants me can come and get me and never go anywhere again. I think that's what I've got to do. But I really photocopy lots of her prayers. I'm going to throw it open for you. I've probably given you enough teaching today without even going through the prayers. I'm going to throw it open to you if maybe you want to comment or say, I know, Corin, you've had a lot of experience. Sharon and Ron have had a lot of experience. But for me, the mandala of Guru Rinpoche, Yeshe Tsogyal, and Mandarava becomes my whole purpose of life, teaching, and returning to it. And I just want to read you one quote from James Lowe, because I think it's so exquisite. In his book, Being Guru Rinpoche, he says, the text that he wrote arises from a sequence of events in which he's implicated, and which just seem to just happen. And he says, then what takes one's fancy also captivates others, releasing inspiration and energy, which is so true, because here I am, I'm captivated by the mandala, and I hope I'm giving you energy that excites you. I hope so. And he says, it reveals the synergy. It's marvelous, for it reveals the synergy of the mandala, the collaborative, effortless effort of getting on with it, being fully in it, up for it, longing for it, living for it, filled and emptied by it, all at the same time. He says, Dharma is the great it, the ungraspable revelation that returns us to ourselves, subverting ordinary identity by dropping us back into the groundless ground, which is always emerging as this or that. Beautiful, because I can't tell you how much I find that mandala of Guru Rinpoche, it's not something external, but it's something more and more that I like to go into my heart. Like today, I wasn't exactly sure how to give this to you. But when I pick up a pen to actually write it, it seems to just come, because those are the things, when you make that connection, that are really, really, really important to your life. And if you are in tune, and if you are there, then all the things come, but they don't come at the time you want them. They come at the necessary time. And when you understand this and you're in tune with it, and then you become an instrument for all of this, like Yeshe Tsogyal. So I've done a lot of teaching. We need to do the prayer, and then we need to do a little bit of the teaching on the prayer, and then we can get on with it next time. But maybe some of you might want to say something or comment. Please do, or please ask. It's really important, because this is for you. Bern, what are you thinking?
I find the prayer beautiful. It's
But don't do the prayer. Just talk about what you feel. We'll do the prayer soon. What
I
do you
started
feel?
doing a lot of her stuff with Guru Rinpoche, especially when it came to the Guru Yoga practice, where I used the two of them. I've always, it's just part of my repertoire. I love
And
it.
keep it like that. And keep it in your heart, and see how your life changes from it. Don't stay like that. Do you want to say anything? Nicola, Karen, Ron, and Sharon, would be lovely to hear from you guys.
Melanie, I'm sorry, we definitely can't put on our camera. We are so limited. I've had to change, in order to be with you. So there are two things I wanted to mention. When I've got some megabytes, I will send you a book that I've got on my computer, The Lives and Liberation of Mandarava. It is absolutely beautiful.
I've got that one. I've got it.
Okay, I thought you may have it. And then I've got some of the most beautiful images of Mandarava with Tsogyal Nampa Nobu, who was like, you could say, together with her all the time. So I'll send that to you when I've got some megabytes. But the other thing I want to mention is Mandarava is the one that we were introduced to by him. So she's with us all the time. She's the Dakini who lives in my heart all the time. We've received in-depth teachings, which I hope maybe some of it we could share, but a lot we can't, because it needs a transmission. The Dzogchen community have a retreat every single year. Following his death, he was doing it, but following his death, it's every single year for 2 weeks, in which we do all the Tsalung practices, we do everything that he gave us. So there's a tremendous amount still that's available and to be learned about Mandarava, and I'm sure with Yeshe Tsogyal as well. So I thought I'd just share that with you.
Beautiful. Absolutely exquisite, because I want all of you to know, and to also know, like, they don't go to these places, they do it all online. That means it's possible for all of us, you know, to do it. If you're just ready, you'll see how it just comes your way, and then you get it. You know, I'm always looking online at the books, the new books that are coming out, and people are writing new books. And if you trust the author, then it's very beautiful, you know, to see. So that is absolutely amazing. Thank you. And Karen, do you want to say anything? I don't know if she can hear me. Okay. Anyone else?
I have a question.
Please.
Basically, we talk a lot about pure perception, pure illusion. Is just something describable? Because we talk about it, and I just keep,
Wondering.
curious of what does that actually.
It's such a beautiful question, because the only way I can answer that is with the three particular visions. So your first vision is your karmic vision, where all your habit formations and your habitual tendencies, actually, that's what you see through your habitual tendencies. That's called your karmic vision. And that's what we see everything. It's so interesting, because sometimes when I'm thinking, suddenly I'm looking at somebody and I'm thinking about what my mother said or my father said, you know, I realized that, you know, what they said was absolutely biased, not because they thought they were being biased, but they were giving their karmic perception. It's very, very interesting. Mimi and I were talking about the technology, and how you've got to keep asking your kids all the time, can you help me with this? And can you help me with this? And can you? It's really hard for me and everything. I mean, they see the technology like we're supposed to see pure perception, you know. We don't see the technology. And there's a part of me that is glad that I don't see the technology, because I think this AI and all the things, I think it spoils your pure perception. Okay, I really, really do. So I think whilst it's very necessary to be able to get what you need in the technology, I think that sometimes it's very limiting in the way they see the world. They often miss so many things through the technology. So although I realize and respect that it's really important, but there were things we saw when I was growing up that my children never ever see because of the technology, you know. So anyway, that's your impure karmic perception. The second vision is what is called, it's still impure in a way, it's still illusionary, but it's pure illusion, is when you're doing your practice. So when you're doing your practice and you say, I'm Mandarava, I'm Yeshe Tsogyal, and you do your practice, that's called illusory pure vision. So illusory pure vision means that you see yourself as Mandarava, and then you dissolve it and there's nothing left of it, you know, or Chenrezi or Guru Rinpoche or whatever you see. So that's called the illusory pure vision. And if you do a practice enough, you start identifying with that part of the being and their quality. Illusory pure vision. And then the absolute pure vision, you have to be at least an 8th level bodhisattva, okay, who sees the world in a completely different way. So even a murder is seen in a pure way, and the life is seen in a pure way. And a dirty, I remember Thupten actually saying that he was walking with Eckhart Rinpoche in London, and he said the sun was shining for a change, and he said, and he felt absolutely on top of the world, walking with this amazing being, and they were talking the Dharma, and he thought, what could be better? Then they went into a tunnel, and in the tunnel was all this ugly graffiti on the wall, and urine, and it stunk, and it was dark and everything when they were walking through. And he looked at Rinpoche and he said to Rinpoche, aren't you feeling how awful this tunnel is? And Rinpoche said, not at all. Okay, he was still in his pure perception, and he was seeing that I wasn't even seeing all this dirty graffiti. He was just seeing this was a passage, and this is what it was, and finished it car. So think about it, you know, when you get pure perception, and we use our practice to try and get at least beyond karmic vision, you know. But when you're looking at something, look again and again and ask yourself, I wonder what this really is. You know, I wonder what this really is. Like I was looking at little Yeshe this morning and thinking, I wonder who you really are, that you figured this all out and found the sun, you know, which is now whoopsed out of. You have to see it differently. So Bern, let's read the prayer and let's read Guru Rinpoche's amazing response to the prayer. What happened to Gail? She was here, but she isn't here anymore.
Melanie, sorry, Ron just wants to say something.
Sure, please.
Mel, every morning, amongst other things, this comes to mind: a new day, a new creation, a new dream, a new illusion. So this helps to accept that whatever takes place, that it has nothing to do with me. So I'm not really affected by any of those if I can just remember these three. And the one thing that also stands out, that the road to enlightenment is always under construction. So you've got to just take things as they come. And sometimes when it seems that there's a difficulty, then the question that arises in my mind is, what can I do about it? Nothing. So I have a choice, either to go into a big heap and then spend the rest of the day wondering about something which I know nothing about, or else accept that something is taking place and what good can come out of it. So it turns it upside down. What was a traumatic event, now suddenly there's great hope, because the success that's going to arise naturally is far greater than the pain that's been suffered. So then that is just like a dedication, then to look at
very, very important what you're saying, very important. It's really important, because we just have to learn to see the world differently, even when you are going through a hard time. It's very important. So Bern, let's put the prayer on and read it through. It won't take long, and then we'll read the reply that I've got, okay? So let's read it together. Maha Guru, the prayer of Yeshe Tsogyal. Just before we go on, I just want to say, the first line of the first prayer, we're not going to do it in Tibetan, we'll do it in Tibetan when we do the verses, but that Maha Guru Chinlap Ji, I want you to notice it, because that is the sentence that comes right through the whole prayer, and it means Maha Guru, great Guru, please give me your blessings. So that's one of the most important sentences which Zongsa said should go in every verse, but of course she couldn't do it to be artistic, but that's your most important. Just go down, Bern, again. Thank you, Bern, for doing it. I'll give it to you at the last minute. Namo Guru. When on Gungtang Pass, say it with me, in Mangyol, the great master Padmasambhava was about to depart from the west, from the southwestern land of the Rakshasas. Okay, I just want to give this to Evie. There you are. From the Rakshasas, Yeshe Tsogyal prostrated, circumambulated him, and placing his feet on her head, uttered the following prayer. Now, you know what I do when I do this every day? I put my hand on top of my head when I start the prayer, because then I am pretending that it's that it's Guru Rinpoche's foot on the top of my prayer like she does. So every day when I do it, I put the hand on top of my head. So let's just do it in the English, and then we'll do it in the Tibetan when we come back. Great Guru, bless me that in all my future lives, in the palaces of pure realms, I may commit myself to you and never be parted from you. We're going to talk about that a lot. With never fluctuating devotion, may I joyfully carry out your wishes and receive the transmission of your nectar-like blessing, the essence of your mind, profound realization. May the blessing of your body, speech, and mind mature my body, speech, and mind. May I receive empowerment for the profound stages of creation and perfection and put them into practice. Just hang on, Bern. Just remember, everybody, don't think that these are just ordinary sentences, because they aren't. They are deep, 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 deep. You have to think about them right out of the box. Okay, thanks, Bern. Now, still the demons of false view, very important, sickness, negative forces and obstacles, and increase my following and resources so that all my wishes are all fulfilled. We're just reading it, then we're coming back to it to learn it. In cemeteries, mountain retreats, snow ranges, and other places with all perfect qualities, may I constantly practice the profound meditation of the quintessential view. As a result of my practice, may I accomplish the 4 activities, very important: increasing, subjugating, magnetizing. We're going to talk about them. And compelling gods and rakshasas. Just look at that to give you a bit of a clue. Gods are on the positive side, rakshasas are on the negative. Both of them, positive and negative, no change, equal taste, to subservience. And may I protect the Buddha's doctrine. May all the sublime teachings expounded by the Buddha arise effortlessly in my mind. Having achieved the highest knowledge, may I attain ultimate realization. We're going to learn a lot from this. Through the power of bodhicitta, should be bodhicitta, may I gather all beings under my influence, and by the unobstructable might of this wishing gem, may all these connections be made meaningful. Just carry on. Through the spread of the Buddha's teachings, may those who hold the lineage and teach the Dharma proliferate. May all beings be brought to bliss and all realms become pure Buddha fields. That's what Tati was asking, Tatiana. May there arise infinite emanations from our body, speech, and mind to benefit each and every being in accord with his needs and capacities. In short, the whole of samsara and nirvana, without exception, being inseparable from the nature of the Guru, may I swiftly attain omniscient Buddha, in which the 3 kayas never merge nor separate. We'll talk about that. May sentient beings offer their prayers. May the lamas, all the different beings, may the lamas bestow their blessings. May the yidams grant accomplishment. This is if it was...
Yeah.
What?
Out of a comfort zone for one.
Sorry, you missed. Jade, just
I think what it means.
hang on, Jade.
Issue.
Sorry, whatever she's doing is coming through. May the lamas bestow their blessings. May the yidams grant accomplishment. May the dakinis give predictions. May the Dharma protectors dispel obstacles. May the Buddha's doctrine spread and proliferate. May all beings have well-being and happiness and practice the Dharma day and night. May our own and others' aims be spontaneously accomplished. By this entirely pure merit, may I stir up the depths of samsara, especially the lower world, and may we remain no more. Jade, please mute yourself, because your noise is coming through, especially the lower realms, and may we remain no more in the ocean of existence, but together realize the 3 kayas. May the great secret teaching of all the conquerors, the supreme and consummate teaching, rise like the sun into the sky and spread throughout the world. Having cultivated this and other positive actions, may I possess all the perfect qualities of the mind of the glorious Guru. Is that it, Bern? Is that the end? Give it to me, that prayer, please, Evie. Yeah. Just take the bottom one. Okay, now that prayer, every single line and every single sentence is a complete teaching on its own with the A to Z of the Dharma. It's very, very important. Let's just do Guru Rinpoche's reply so you can hear what he's saying, seeing them all on Guntang Peak. And what does he actually reply to her, which is very beautiful. Thanks, Bern, for doing it at such short notice. And just read it, because I read it every other day, and then I read Mandarava's prayer on the alternate day, which is important, okay? When Guru Rinpoche departed from his consort Yeshe Tsogyal, she was heartbroken, and these were his departing words to her. Read it with me. Kiema, I think it's Kiema, Yeshe Tsogyal, please listen. Padmasambhava goes to the land of great bliss. I remain in the Dharmakaya, the deathless divinity. She's having a hard time. It has nothing in common with the separation of body and mind at death of ordinary people. It's not the same as ordinary people. Meditate on Guru Rinpoche, which is the quintessence of the training. 2 feet above the crown of your head, on a lotus and moon in the midst of light. Visualize Padmasambhava, the Lama of the beings. When the visualization becomes clear, receive the empowerments and contemplate on it. That's your Guru Yoga. Recite the Guru Siddhi mantra. That's Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum, the heart quintessence of the prayers. And finally, unify your 3 doors with mind, inseparably, body, speech, and mind. Dedicate and make aspirations for the realization of the mind of the Guru. Contemplate in the essence of Dzogchen effortlessly. There are no teachings superior to this. The love of Padmasambhava has no rising or setting, but will always be there. The link of light of my compassion for Tibet will never be severed even after I have departed. For my children who pray to me, I'm always in front of them. For people who have faith, there's no separation from me. How beautiful is that? I mean, for us, thank you, Bern, very much for doing for us. That's the essence of everything. And I say that prayer every other day, and I say the Mandarava or the Yeshe Tsogyal, because it's so important. And that's everything that we need. And the very first line in Tibetan is the very important thing of, Maha Guru Chinlapchi. That means, great Guru, give your blessings. But it doesn't have to be external. You've got the great Guru in your heart. And these prayers will start changing your life. I promise you they'll start changing your life. Maybe we can do one verse, but let's do a little meditation, because it's a lot that I've given you. Even I'm a bit dead. Okay, so just think about how special this is. And when we've done the teaching, and I'll give you Zongsa's ideas, I'll give you my ideas on each of the verses when you start seeing them completely out of the box. And they really change your life, because then you have the Yeshe Tsogyal vibration coming into your life. Very important. So let's do a little meditation, and then I'll throw it open if we can, so that we can do. So you're breathing in, and you're breathing out. As you're breathing in, you are actually touching the Maha Guru in your heart. You are actually, oh, somebody said they couldn't hear when I was doing the meditation, so I'll do it a little bit louder. You are actually touching the Guru, Maha Guru, right in the center of your heart. Very, very beautiful. Remember, as Dzogyal says, that Maha Guru inside you has never been tainted. No matter what you do, no matter how hard it is for you to do what you have to do. Never. So when you are saying Maha Guru Chinlap Ji, Chi, you are saying, give your blessings to me. When you have the blessings of the Maha Guru within, you can start off with the Maha Guru without, and then move into the Maha Guru within, and then you've got everything you need. Breathe that in. In the Dharmata, the pure, open, spacious, blue, never-ending Dharmakaya. Breathe into it. Take it into your being. No matter what circumstances you are going through, no matter how hard it is, no matter what you have to go through today, tomorrow, any day, take it in. Maha Guru Chinlap Chi, bless me, bless me. The blessings are the empowerment, the one, the lung, the permission, the pouring from the vase into you. And when you breathe out, give up fixation, give up holding on to everything in your life that isn't going well, your negative emotions, your feelings, your sickness. Just let them all go into the Dharmata, the spaciousness. Just for this one moment of meditation, feel your absolute spaciousness, your absolute ability to do absolutely everything you need to do in this life. All you need is the blessing of your true nature, your Maha Guru. So today, I want you to just contemplate Yeshe Tsogyal and Mandarava and Guru Rinpoche and their beautiful mandala space. And I want you to see how free you are to go in it. As Guru Rinpoche says, I have never departed from you. I am the Dharmakaya, and so are you. And if you meditate on the Guru Yoga, the great Maha Guru, it will all be there for you. And if you do this when you die, it'll all be there for you. You feel that you are uniting your body, speech, and mind with the body, speech, and mind of these enlightened beings. Just visualize how Yeshe Tsogyal walked the earth for our sake, asked the questions for our sake, and gave her final prayer at the end to the Maha Guru. May I never be parted from you. And Dzogyal says, even though she obviously has to be parted from him in the physical, she has the Maha Guru in her heart, and so do you. And in times sense of need and stress, just go to that beautiful, beautiful part in you that is not one iota affected by the conditions of your world. Sit there for a moment and draw in Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal, their beauty, their blessings, and feel the inner light that you have. Check your bodies that everything is relaxed, that your channels are straight, that you can receive those blessings. Now, for one moment, look at your visions of the world, your normal visions of the world, your irritations, the impurities, the fighting, the demands, the news. Just look at it for one moment. And then in a split second, see it as it really is. Pure perception. None of this is permanent. None of it is real. And we are training ourselves through the practice. And when we do the Maha Guru Chinapchi, give me your blessings, we are getting all the energy from them to be able to see the world in a different way. So I hope I've set the stage for all of you. I'm sorry you're not putting on your cameras because then I can't see how you are and what you look at, a lot of you. I know some can't because of the power, but if you can, it really makes a big difference to the teaching. But you know what? What's important is, maybe one or two of you want to say something, because what's important is to understand what we, oh, sorry, to understand what we have been left. Such an amazing inheritance. I mean, when you think about it, it's really, when you see the mess the world is in and we've been left this, makes everything fade into insignificance. And Jade, just go back and listen to the beginning, okay? Because you missed a lot of it. And it's important because then you'll understand the prayer much better. And those of you that were in and out that missed it, it's important. And David, I haven't heard a word from you. And I don't know why your camera's always off. And I like to see you. I mean, there are not a lot of guys that are coming in the morning. It's usually 3 of you or something. So it's nice to see you when we can. Anybody want to say anything or ask anything?
Yeah. No, I just want, I don't know if it'll help anybody, but Lama
No.
Lena always says that perceptions are thoughts that we tell ourselves.
Very
So
nice.
are emotions. They're stories that we tell ourselves. So are emotions, and so are the thoughts. So if we get into the habit of knowing that these are stories that we tell ourselves, then it disappears. And I think pure perception, I might be wrong, is actually bodhicitta. That is all that there is. That's my view. Dharmakaya, you know, that's to and faith. I remember what you know, you're just talking from the book. And I remember when she met Guru Rinpoche and he spoke about faith. And he took her to places where people were eating rocks and were like, and that was it. And that's when she realized faith. You know, that's what faith is. So I think one needs that. I lack it a lot, but one needs the faith. I mean, the understanding of faith, the actual faith, to actually perceive the pure perception.
Yeah, I think that's such an important thing, because I think the faith actually, the faith is like what he talks about, the green tomatoes, that green tomato is like and I'll give that to you when we do the prayer, but the green tomato is your potential. It's just got to run. The potential is there, and I think that's what you're saying about the faith. That once you have potential for it, it's amazing, because then you can just get it.
I skip the faith. I have difficulty with the faith. That I think I probably would eat rocks if they were put in front of me to show my faith.
Difficulty. I don't think you have.
I jump it. The actual understanding.
What do you mean?
I know.
For you as well,
Pardon?
No, it's important for you when you say, because I think
I'm just being honest. I don't. I mean, I would eat the rocks. I would do anything and everything.
That is faith.
Because that's me. Because that is bodhicitta, which I have a complete understanding of. But the actual faith, if you know what I mean, it isn't in me.
No,
it sounds weird.
No, you're wrong, because
I can't.
Think about what you're saying here. You're saying I would rocks if I was sitting with one of these great masters and they said, eat the rock, eat it. But that's your story, which you often tell. You often underestimate and undermine your own self and your own thing, because you don't have the faith in you. You have the faith in what you learn and in the other people. But I think now the time's come, you've got to have your faith in you totally. I just need to look at the back of your room. There's your faith. It's so clear.
No, it's there, but it's not faith. It's very hard to. I sent you that book, and I wanted you to read that section on the Dhyani Buddhas. Because I use that book for cataloging. Because I've got so many notebooks, and I mean, if I pack up and when I move, which I hope pretty soon, then I mean, I've just one or two books. But then when I was reading it, and it spoke, which I've never seen before. I mean, I've done so much on Vajrasattva and the hollow heart, etc., and I did all the Upadeshas, as you know. And then when I was just going through it, and he said the Dakini's light, I got it. I've tiglas. I broke through the tiglas and the rainbows and everything into the absolute clear light. I mean, it all make the white light. And I said, okay, I don't need, really, I can dump them. Why have I focused so hard on them? So I wanted to know if, that's why I sent it to you, if you sort of like thought about it or have experienced it with the Dhyani Buddhas or whatever, but it's not
You
the,
experience
normally
it.
when I have the rainbows, it's, and the spheres, it's like through this, or I'm part of it, but it's never been just like shooting through, you know what I mean? Everything was, it moved beyond the Tsogyal's and everything. So that's what that's all I got from that book. And that, I think when you,
I found he was very, very technical. And
yes,
but also I didn't maybe read it in the right circumstances. I was rushing because I had all of this, doing a lot of things. But I think he was very knowledgeable, that guy.
yeah,
Very,
but I think he takes from everybody else and he's put it in one book. That's how I feel. But I mean, it's fine. I got something out of you. That's all I needed.
that's what you needed. For me, the tech, I prefer it because how I prefer doing it is that I wake up to the 5 Buddhas from the mantras and from the 100 deity practices and everything. Suddenly see them on that. I'm reading charts. I didn't get the same as you, but you might have needed that. Everybody needs something different.
Yeah.
You might have just needed that to books and actually see it. And if that happened, then it's amazing, absolutely amazing. But I found that when I'm doing the mantras of the 5 Buddhas, and when I'm teaching it, and when I'm sitting and I go and I actually think of the one, the Abhishenka, the you know, the thing of each of them, that's where I get that same feeling from. But not the same as you, but it doesn't matter. If you got it there, that's amazing. And I want to actually, you know, what I did was I ordered that book. My son's coming from the UK because I want to look at it like this. You know me. You all come and get my books after I die, so it doesn't matter. You know? So I think this is my last move, and then I'm just leaving it there. And then whoever's around can actually just come and take the books. And
well, we're moving together. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, if you want to move in, I think so. But let's educate everybody. And
so thank you. Okay.
Well, I love what you're saying, and it's very nice. And all of you have got your own ways, and I'm never, ever critical about your own way because each of us comes in a different way. But let's dedicate to all sentient beings who are suffering, every single one of them, every one of them who've gone through into the bardos, who are lost, all of them, we dedicate, if there is any merit from the teaching, we dedicate this merit so that all beings can use it and find their way, and all animals can find their way to higher realms. Through this merit, may all beings attain omniscience, may all obscurations fall away from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara, may all beings be freed. Sonam diye tamche zipane topne nepe tranam tamshene cheganachi balak tropaye sipe sole doa do warsho.